Hi everyone, welcome back to Spirit Lit. Today is Toy Rotation Day. Let's get started. Welcome back everybody. This is Spirit Lit, a channel that was inspired by God to help support you as caregivers to support the children in your life to reach their very fullest potential. Today is toy rotation at our house, and I just wanted to take you along with us that you can see sort of the basic guideline and setup that I use when I'm rotating toys out for my child who is 2 years old to play with. And so you may hear me using the word work a lot versus activities or toys. And just know that that's a Montessori word we use in the classroom. We want to help instill the love of work in our children. So we use that term a lot interchangeably with activities. So whether you have a playroom where you keep all of your toys or activities, or you have separate shelvings throughout your house like I do in different areas that's accessible to my child, a toy rotation, it can be a wonderful thing to implement that can help save you time and stress and provide a lot of wonderful stimulation and engagement with toys and activities that maybe otherwise would have been left behind or forgotten. So I'm just going to go through a couple of the pros and cons. So I think the pros far outweigh the cons in regards to toy rotation, but you may think otherwise. So let's see. So for me, the biggest pro is it's less clutter. If you have everything out for your child all at one time, it's just visually very cluttered. Unless you have like the largest house and amazing shelving system, then it can just be overwhelming visually for you and for your child. So creating a toy rotation system can help sort of bring that clutter down so that it's just not so overwhelming for them. And that way your child will be able to see more of what they have that they would be then more likely to engage with. Another pro is that this is going to create a lot less stress for you and for your child. You may have heard of analysis paralysis. When it comes to decision making, well, there is such a thing as choice paralysis. And this is if you have so many items out available to you and you have to make a decision of what you want to play with or work with at one time, you may not be able to. And so a lot of times with children, this can result in sort of bouncing from toy to toy very quickly and very carelessly. And we all have that experience of where, we keep buying toys for our children and oftentimes they don't play with it longer than 1 second. And we're wondering, well, okay, I just spent $20 on that. Why don't you like it? So actually having a toy rotation system can help your children to engage with all of the toys that they have more often and more thoroughly, because there is less choice for them to pick from at any one time. So to me, that's a big one. And also it creates less work for you as a caregiver if there's less choice out, especially if your child is not trained on how to put away their things when they're finished with them. Then you're probably going after your child 1,000 times a day, picking up right after them. And if you've just given up on that because it is exhausting and you have multiple children, then your house probably has a lot of clutter and a lot of mess, which maybe you've just resigned yourself to, and that's great. I get that. But if you're wanting to have a little bit more of a tidy space, then I would consider a toy rotation to implement into your family. Regarding sort of more engagement, which is another great plus, again, children, they can get bored if they see a certain toy out that is all the time. They may overlook it because it's out all the time. But if you put it away and it comes out only at a certain time, every few months or so, every couple of months, whatever, of course that brings new interest into that item. Ooh, I haven't seen that in a long time. It's almost like you bought a new toy, which is another pro, that this can save you money from having to continue buying new toys after toys and either jettisoning the ones that they're not playing with or just allowing it to build up into your collection. So, having a toy rotation where things come out, they haven't seen it in a long time, it just builds interest, and they'll want to play with it more often. Overall, I think this creates a lot less work for the caregiver, especially if you use mom math, which is a new term that people seem to really be loving. The amount of time that it takes to go behind your child every single day, to pick up after them, to put back away, versus what it takes to, take a moment, probably an hour or two every month maybe, to rotate toys. You're going to save a lot of time. But that does kind of lead us towards some of the cons that can happen with toy rotation. So this may not be for you. So again, you have to take time. If you just want all your things out all at one time, you don't even have to worry about it or hassle with it, then this may not be for you. But it can take as much time as you want or as little time as you want. If you want to change up a whole bunch of things all at one time, or maybe you just want to change up a couple of things as you go along throughout the month. It's really up to you, but we'll talk more about that kind of during our setup. Another con can happen where if you accidentally put away something that your child's really interested in, then that might cause a lot of concern for your child, a lot of upset for them, which of course then causes upset for you. Some quick troubleshooting tips there is to keep out anything that you can tell your child is very engaged with at the moment. They keep going back to it over and over again. That's a great sign that that is hitting a developmental need, that whatever it is fulfilling. Of course, we want them to explore all of their toys, but if you put up something that you really don't want to get back out, you can always say, oh, you would like to play with that gray car? Okay, great. I'm sure it's going to come back out in a month or two. And that can help to build some momentum of interest, of some anticipation of that it's going to be coming back out. You can also use some verbalizations like, oh, I know you really want to see that. Oh, but I don't see that right now. Let's go over here and play with this toy. Have you seen this one over here? Oh, this is something maybe you haven't seen. Another con is having storage space. So yeah, you have to have some storage to put out the toys, but then again, you have to have some space to have your toys out in your house to begin with. We have a really small house, and so storage does not come easily, so I'm very careful with it. So those are just some quick pros and cons of toy rotation. Now I just want to talk a little bit about sort of the basic setup of it. I recommend having separate boxes for your toy rotation. So you can take small boxes that have handles that are firm, like this one and the ones that I have behind us, for your harder toy items. If you have a lot of stuffed animals or anything that's soft and squishy, you can put those in trash bags. I would also avoid a very large toy bin, just put every single thing in, because it's just going to take you a lot of time to go through it, and then pieces get broken and missing. Keeping things out of sight and out of mind for your child during the month is a good idea. So if you have boxes like this that have your child's extra toys in them, put them in a place where your child can't see them or have access to them. Otherwise, they're just going to go in there during the month and pull things out, and it's just going to create a lot of headache for you and for them, frustration for them. And that really is only if your child is younger, maybe 3 or 4 or younger, and it's hard for them to have the self-control to wait until a certain toy is being brought out. It just depends on your child and your child's development, wherever they are. But, around 4 or 5 years old, this is a great time to bring them in on the process. And that way it keeps the guesswork out of it for you. You know what they want to play with or what they want to use because they'll tell you. And then that's a great time to go through and get rid of anything that maybe they've outgrown or that they no longer want. A good time for creating some donation piles. And you only have to change a few items at a time when you do a toy rotation. Don't think you have to go in and change every single thing that you have out and replace it with something else. Again, keep the ones that they're engaged with and loving at that moment. Just do some of the ones that they really haven't been drawn to and replace those with something you think they might enjoy. Like today, I'm probably going to replace maybe 30 to 50% of the things that I have out for my child. I have gone in the past and changed every single thing up when I can tell they're really bored, but that was mostly when he was younger. Now I can see where he's interested in some of the things that are still out, that I can just rotate some of the things that he's just showing no interest in. And I definitely suggest keeping a running list. During the month or however long it takes you to do a toy rotation, you may notice that your child is interested in something that you don't have a toy or an activity that supports. So I keep a little running list on my refrigerator, and anytime I see something that I kind of think, oh, I think I have something in toy storage that he might really enjoy, I just go and I jot it down. And that way, when I'm ready, I can grab it and say, oh yeah, I remember, I've got this. And then I can replace it. Or if I want to build a work, make an activity out of it, then I'll have some ideas. I also keep a little grocery list or Walmart list on here. So if I need to buy any extra supplies of the things that I'm thinking about, it's just nice to have a running list going so you don't have to come up with it all on the same day that you're doing toy rotation. And I recommend after you do a toy rotation, if it's something that your child's never seen before, or if it's an activity that requires some step-by-steps, that you introduce it to them first before just letting them have at it. That way you can model the expectations for it before letting them go for it. So going through the actual toys or activities that I'm rotating is going to be a video for another day. That would just take up a lot of time. I just kind of wanted to give you the basics of how a toy rotation works, how you can maybe think that it could work for you. Again, it always just depends on your situation, your environment, your budget. And so I hope that you consider doing a toy rotation if you are not doing one already. If you have some other ideas that have really worked for you, I'd love for you to tell me down in the comments. Well, that's it for today. Remember to give the video a like, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe down below so you can be notified of more videos that come out each week. Also, if you watch my channel, you know that I like to end every video with a promise, scripture, and a prayer that's just for you. Especially from God. So let's see what God has for all of us today. Okay, God, what do the people listening to my voice need to hear right now from you? Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. John 14:27. All right. Thank you, God. Okay, so let's see. God, thank you. Thank you for your peace. I just ask, Lord, that you help us to get out of our heads, out of our plans that we have made, Lord, and allow the plans that you have for us to come forth and shine through. Lord, illuminate those plans, illuminate the path that you have for us so that we can see clearly that you are there with us, Lord, and that we can relax and we can accept the peace that you are giving us because we know that you are in control, Lord. It's not about us. Just like this channel, Lord, you inspired this channel, so it's all for you, Lord, all for your glory. I just ask that your peace just penetrate all of the hearts and minds to anyone that's listening to my voice. Let it be that peace. It's a supernatural peace, Lord. It's one that is beyond any kind of peace that we can manufacture on our own. So I just ask that peace rest heavily in everyone that's hearing my voice. Thank you, God, for your love, for your promises. I ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Thanks, everybody.